Welcome to the explainer that will completely change the way you see the universe tonight. You know, when you walk outside and look up at the stars, you aren't actually seeing the universe as it is right now. You're looking at ghosts. Because light takes time to travel across the vastness of space, you're seeing the cosmos exactly as it was thousands, sometimes even millions of years ago. And that simple fact, that looking across space literally means looking back in time, well, that's our very first clue to a much deeper, hidden structure to our reality. Tonight, we're going to look past that comforting idea that the universe is just this endless, open frontier waiting for us to explore it. Instead, we're going to examine the actual physical architecture of the cosmos. We are going to confront a reality that challenges everything we've ever been taught to hope for about reaching out into the dark.
I want you to really think about this for a second. What if finding another civilization or, being found by one is not just highly difficult? What if it's not just mathematically unlikely? What if it is fundamentally impossible? Just let that word hang in the air for a moment to challenge everything you might assume about contact. Impossible. Now, I'm not saying the universe is empty or that alien life doesn't exist. There could absolutely be trillions of worlds teeming with life out there, building massive cities and broadcasting signals into the void exactly as we speak. But what if the very structure of the universe absolutely forbids us from ever having a conversation with them? It totally upends our deepest assumptions about humanity's ultimate future among the stars. And when I say impossible, I definitely do not mean the kind of barrier that just disappears because we eventually invent a better warp drive or because we have a million more years to try. This is absolutely crucial to understand. This isn't a problem waiting for smarter scientists to solve. This is a much deeper limitation. To get this, we have to look at the speed of light. See, the speed of light isn't just a measure of how fast a photon moves, it is the absolute maximum speed of causality in the universe. It's the hard, unbreakable limit on how fast any information, any signal, or any cause and effect relationship can travel from point A to point B. It is a limitation that simply does not care about our technological progress or our human ambition.
Okay, let's dive into this. For decades, through projects like SETI, we've been scanning radio waves, continually listening to that endless, terrifying quiet of space. We tell ourselves a very comforting, very human story about that silence. We think of it as just a great waiting game. And honestly, it makes total sense why we think this way. Human history is pretty much entirely defined by overcoming distances, right? We built ships to cross oceans, planes to cross continents, and rockets to cross the void to the moon. So we naturally assume that with just a little more patience and maybe some slightly more advanced technology, we'll eventually crack the code. We think, well, we just haven't pointed our satellite dishes at the exact right star system yet.
But there is a massive divide between our human instinct to just build a better tool and what physical reality actually dictates. You can really see the contrast here between our hopeful assumptions and the much darker story that physics actually tells us. We desperately cling to this hopeful assumption that better telescopes and infinite patience are the keys to unlocking the universe. But the true story reveals that the silence of the cosmos is not a temporary engineering problem. It is a hard limit written directly into the mechanics of the universe itself. The universe holds the ultimate trump card against our technological optimism, and it's entirely based on how space and distance actually function.
So how exactly does distance completely prevent contact? Well, it comes down to a mind-bending phenomenon called cosmic metric expansion. The space between our galaxy and distant galaxies isn't just sitting there empty. It is actively stretching. And it's stretching everywhere, all at once. Even crazier, the further away an object is from us, the faster the space between us and that object is expanding. Beyond a certain boundary in the cosmos, space is actually expanding faster than the speed of light itself. This means a signal sent toward us from those distant regions, even one traveling at the absolute speed limit of the universe, will literally never reach us. Think of it like trying to run up a down escalator that's moving faster than you can sprint. No matter how much time passes, the physical gap can never, ever be closed.
But actually, even within our own local neighborhood, the sheer math of this barrier is absolutely staggering. Let's forget the expanding edges of the universe for a second and just look at our own Milky Way galaxy, which is about 100,000 light years across. If there's a brilliant, advanced civilization sitting right on the other side of our galaxy, and they send a simple radio signal saying hello, that signal takes 100,000 years to arrive here. If we somehow catch it and reply immediately, it's another 100,000 years before they hear it. 200,000 years just to say hi and get a wave back. The fundamental laws of the universe physically preclude a two-way conversation within the lifespan of a species. This is what we mean by impossible, a profound physical limit that absolutely cannot be crossed.
Let's move on and see how this builds, because these unbreakable barriers aren't just empty voids we can eventually build a giant bridge across. They are literally woven into the fabric of space-time itself. Imagine a rubber band with two ants walking towards each other. If you pull that rubber band apart faster than the ants can walk, they are never going to meet. It doesn't matter how hard they try or how much stamina they have. That is the very architecture of our cosmic isolation. The vast, insurmountable distance between us and any other potential civilization is a fundamental feature of how space-time exists and stretches. It's a permanent wedge driven between the stars.
To truly grasp our isolation, we need to slow down and understand the immense scale of these layers. First, you have our own solar system, governed by massive distances where even a simple radio signal takes hours just to reach Pluto. Then you cross into the Oort cloud, and then out into the deep interstellar void, where distances are suddenly measured in trillions of miles. And beyond that, the intergalactic void. It's an expanse so incomprehensibly massive that entire galaxies look like microscopic specks of dust. Each layer of the universe is stronger, vastly wider, and far more unforgiving than the last. And the ultimate result of this physical reality? Any civilization that arises is pushed into absolute, permanent isolation. We're all just trapped in our own incredibly tiny pockets of a universe that is expanding far too fast to ever allow us to touch.
So the crucial point is this: when you look at the relentless math of the speed of light, and you combine it with a universe that is stretching itself apart faster than signals can travel, you arrive at a profound philosophical revelation. As many astrophysicists have come to realize over the years, the universe is not hiding others from us. It was never meant for us to find them. Just let that unsettling realization truly sink in for a second. The silence we hear when we point our telescopes at the sky isn't a puzzle waiting to be magically solved. The terrifying quiet of space isn't a mistake, and it isn't a temporary lack of data. It is exactly how the system was designed to function by the raw laws of physics.
Now, I know this realization is incredibly heavy. When you first grasp the sheer scale of metric expansion and the absolute unyielding nature of the speed of light, it's almost terrifying to feel that disconnected. But at the same time, if you really look at it, it's strangely beautiful. Because if we are permanently isolated in our little corner of the cosmos, it means our existence, our vibrant blue planet, and our consciousness are incredibly precious. We are the sole caretakers of our observable pocket of the dark. There is a profound majesty in understanding the absolute limits of our reality, and in accepting our uniquely solitary yet deeply vital place within this incredibly vast structure.
Because to truly understand our place in existence, we have to be willing to peel back the universe itself layer by layer, starting from our tiny solar system all the way out to the expanding cosmic horizon. We have to be willing to look past our comforting human myths and see the raw, uncompromising truth hidden beneath the cosmos. If exploring the profound truth of these cosmic limits sparks your awe and curiosity, please like this explainer to join us. Become part of a community that dares to question absolutely everything about the physical reality we live in.
So now that you understand the mechanics of cosmic expansion and the absolute speed limit of causality that governs everything we will ever know, how does it change the way you look at the night sky? Knowing that the architecture of absolute isolation is physically built into the universe itself, are we brave enough to peel back those comforting illusions and fully embrace the beautiful, permanent quiet of the stars? Keep questioning, keep looking up, and we'll explore the next layer of our reality together soon.